Thanks for joining. Welcome aboard. It's a pleasure for me to be with you to talk to you about the very first paraliminal ever recorded, the new behavior generator. And throughout the years, it has continued to be the #1 best-selling paraliminal of all. I love to talk about new behavior generator as a self-improvement course in a box. I mean, it's one session split into 2 parts, and that program, New Behavior Generator, can work with you for all the days of your life. It's so powerful. And as my work has evolved over the years, one of the things I notice is that the basic process that I take you through, especially on session A, is the most self-transforming process that I teach. Now, I've embellished it a bit over the years, and it's when I train people to do my work in a program called the Other Than Conscious Communications Workshop, I call it Paul's favorite, because the essence of this really is the most go-to change work process of anything that I do. So let me explain. At the heart of this particular program, Session A of New Behavior Generator, which we're talking about today, is a process called reframing. Now, the ability to frame and reframe your experience is key to having new perspectives. You see, when we're experiencing the world, we're taking it in through our 5 physical senses. And there's some natural loss of information through our sensory systems. But once it gets into us, the brain then goes through what's called universal modeling principles. And it deletes, it distorts, and it generalizes incoming information purposefully, because what it's trying to do is be very rapid at pattern recognition. Well, the problem with its speed is that there is a loss of accuracy or clarity. And it's that loss of accuracy and clarity and that reduction of powerful information that would be normally available to us that causes us to have memories that are not accurate. So everything that is coded within our brain, every memory that's coded has a vivid image, a vivid somatic component, and a vivid meaning attached to it. And the problem comes in is when we attach meaning incorrectly. So we have faulty conclusions about our experiences. Now, very often, some of the biggest barriers that we face as adults are memories that we have significant learning events that we had when we were much younger. So let's say something happened to you when you're 17 years old, and that's influenced your life for decades. Well, essentially, you've got a 17-year-old running your life today. How's that working? What we want to be able to do is take those thoughts, those ideas, those meanings that we've assigned to our life, and we want to be able to frame it and reframe it differently so that we have new interpretations of the event that actually occurred. So the way the reframing process works and the change work on this session is essentially we have something in your left hand and something in your right hand. In your left hand is the information about your past. It's your historic perspectives. And essentially the protection mechanisms that are holding you back in order to keep you safe, in order to keep you loved, in order to keep you feeling worthy of the life that you're living. Unfortunately, that protection mechanism also has a tendency to prevent us from doing the things that are necessary to accomplish the goals that you have for you today. So what that means is you have a commitment. You want to accomplish this. And you look at your behavior at the end of a day or a week or a month or a year and you think, I didn't make any progress on that. What's going on? Well, if you look at what are you doing or not doing that is preventing you from attaining what it is you're committed to, you realize your behaviors indicate you're committed to something else than what you're declaring you're committed to. Well, what would that be? And if you did an honest examination of what that is, you would discover the protection mechanism from one of the three big fears that stop all of us. A fear that we're not going to be safe or sufficiently resourced to handle a situation coming up. A fear of what others would think if we tried it and failed. We might get kicked to the curb by them. And as tribal species, historically, we're not going to survive in a society if we're not loved and feel like we belong. And the third is that we're insufficiently resourced somehow. We're insufficient somehow. Not young enough, not old enough, not smart enough, not degreed enough, not certified enough, not qualified enough to really handle what's going to come up when we endeavor to achieve that goal. And so these three big fears in some fashion are into the reason why I'm committed to my staying in a safety zone, a comfort zone, rather than venturing out to accomplish something that's on my heart and mind to do. So the reframing process says, okay, put that part of you in one hand, and then in the other hand, put that part of you that really wants this goal, that's heading in the direction of this new way of living your life, this realization of an important desire that you have for yourself. And so in these two hands, you've got these conflicting parts. They've been at war with each other. Well, if we could bring them to the UN, put down all the weapons of mass distraction, and have them just meet with a sense of peace and just say, okay, let's talk about this. What are you trying to do for Paul? Well, I'm trying to help Paul succeed by keeping him safe and not screwing up and not getting into any trouble like he experienced in the past. Okay, and thank you. That's wonderful. And what are you trying to do? Well, I'm trying to help Paul by realizing his dreams and his desires and accomplishing the great things that he's capable of doing. Okay, so wait a minute. You're both working for my best interest? Mm-hmm. But you're working on it with completely opposing ways of accomplishing that? Mm-hmm. All right, so how about if, because we've got a positive intention to have Paul realize his fullest potential, why don't we get together and talk about how this could go? What are some new and creative ways in which these two conflicting parts could work with each other? Instead of having the battle rage on an ongoing basis, let's bring them together. Let's talk about this. Let's have them work it out. Let's generate new and creative ways. Well, how are we going to do that? Well, let's bring in the higher intelligence. Let's bring in the creative intelligence to meet with you. So we've got three parts. The creative part, the part that wants to achieve the great outcomes in life, and the part that really wants to protect me from getting into trouble. Okay, work it out and give me a signal when you've come up with at least three new and creative ways to accomplish that. Now, I'll tell you, I have studied a lot of self-development methods. And without exception, this one is at the heart of every great process that causes a significant positive change and resolution and transformation of your life. This one, I mean, it really is at the essence, because the best technique is going to say, where am I disconnecting from myself, from my power, from my capacities? And if I look at what I'm not doing, or what I'm doing that's not getting me what I want, either case, I can see it's me. And this is such a strange deal. It's what I call the disorienting dilemma. Now understand, the very moment you say, well, I have a goal to accomplish something that I haven't accomplished up until now, at that moment, you've now created a gap between where you are and where you want to go. Right there. And as you look at that gap, you see this big abyss between here and there. And I know the next couple of steps. I know where I want to go, but between here and there, whoa, what's in there? And mind is designed to throw into that gap all the fears, all the worries, all the objections, all the concerns that could get in the way of being successful. Thank you, mind. However, work this out so I can see I'm resourceful enough to get where I want to go. And that's the essence of this process, you see. And so you're literally bringing these two hands together. You're reframing the disorienting dilemma as an opportunity to work it out internally and get where I want to go. Can I do this? Yes. Have I any idea how? Not any. But are there people in the world that have done the thing I want to now do? Great. That's session B. It's called modeling. It's the new behavior generator technique. And that's what we're going to be talking about in the next session. So play with this reframing. I'll tell you what, it is the fastest way to create a sense of alignment, inclusion of all of who you are, and congruence in where you're trying to go. So when we can live coherently on a daily basis and congruently in our ongoing behavior, we have this ongoing communication, this correspondence with the vast resourcefulness that's available to us every minute of every day. So have a wonderful, spectacular day. Thanks for joining me. Peace and blessings. We'll see you in the very next session. Bye for now.